Okay, nice to be back doing this Hohner Liliput. Now the next step, after I've done quite a lot hey! Let's start. Good afternoon, welcome back to the next step of this Hohner Liliput restoration. So I've done quite a lot of the work on the compression, so the pallets on the treble side and the base side have been refaced with nice soft leather. I've replaced the Bellows gaskets and I've filled in the pinholes and put some new pinholes in so that they all kind of match up nicely with the new Bellows gasket. So that's all good. The compression's really nice. Obviously checked out the bellows and the taping of the bellows and the corners are checked and everything. So that's all kind of done. So I can put that to one side just for now because that's going to be absolutely fine. I'm very pleased with that. Put that down. So the next step is to get cracking on the reeds. Now we've got the base reed blocks, nice and diddy, very nice, and then the treble, not that one, that's a different one, the treble reed blocks, which are also nice and diddy. Now when I was looking at the reed blocks, one thing I did notice was that one of the reeds had snapped, had broken off. You can see it in there probably.
Meg, do you need any help?
So that's kind of a little bit of an issue because these are quite specific to Hohner Liliputs because they're quite small reeds, and they're not standard reeds because they're not your accordion reeds, which have got the same pitch on bottom and top. They're actually the diatonic ones. We've got a different note on the push and the pull. But I think I've got a solution because I have got my whole collection of spare reeds that I always keep, and I keep them actually labelled A, B flat, B, C, C, C sharp, D, E, so they're all going to be labelled properly. And I've found the right pitch from the outside reed, and as luck would find it, I found one which is actually the same size and the same pitch as that outside one. The only thing is that the inside pitch is a tone lower, but I'm hoping that I can actually bring the tone down of the inside pitch of the reed plate by some careful scratching, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get around it by using this reed. Okay, so I'll just put that to one side, so that's hopeful. Put those down there. Okay, so the next thing then is to get the reeds out of the reed block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the treble side. I'm going to choose one side of reeds, and before I do that I'm going to label each side. So I'm going to call that side 1 and that side 2. Because when I take them off, I want to keep all the ones from that side together and all the ones from that side together, not muddle them up, because that just causes a massive headache. So that's going to be 1, that's going to be 2, that's the one that's a bit broken. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take out the reeds, and I'm going to start actually with set 2 because one of them's loose anyway. So this is how I get them out. First of all, I've just got a very sharp pen knife, and if you go, if I just bring this down like this, I'm just going to very carefully go underneath that reed and lever it up. And that just brings the reed out. Now there are some little tiny pins, so actually I'm going to get those pins out first before getting the rest of the reeds out. So I'm just going to use my little pliers and see if I can get these pins out. Ooh, a bit wonky. There we are. So what I'm going to do now is, I won't spend too long demonstrating, so I'm getting the pins out first, then I'm going to use a very sharp pen knife just to get underneath each reed and get them all out. So I'll show you what it looks like when I've got them all out. Okay, so this is the reeds out. Now, when you look at the reeds, it's very nice on this Melodeon is that the upper side is got a mark with a T, sometimes it's a mark with a H. So that will just tell you which way to put the reed back in, which is really, really important on the diatonic because they're different pitches and you need to get the right one on the outside for the push or the pull of the bellows. So that's all nice. So what I'm going to do now is going to take off all of the valves. I'm going to discard all of them, and then I'm just going to, with the little blade, take off as much of the wax and glue from these reeds as I can. So I'll just do that. So I'm just going to do some careful scrape. Okay, here they are, all devolved. I've scraped off as much of the old wax and glue. They're still a little bit dirty, a bit grimy, kind of a surface rust, but what I'm going to do is get all these, I'm going to put them into ultrasonic cleaner. In here I've got some warm water, a touch of fairy liquid. I'm going to give them a few goes around in the ultrasonic cleaner. When I get them out, I'm going to put them onto a little towel and I get a hairdryer and just dry them really, really thoroughly so there's not any moisture left on them. But this will be a nice little way of just getting them sparkling again. So I'm going to put them in the ultrasonic and leave them in there for say 10 minutes or so and see how they come out. So now obviously I'm not going to film just 10 minutes of the ultrasonic, but put those in, get in, there he goes. Right, let's have a look at them in a minute. Okay, so that's all of the reeds out of the ultrasonic. I've given them a little rub down with the tea towel, so I'm just going to give them a final blast with my hairdryer. Turn them over. There we go. So these reeds now look just an awful lot cleaner. Taking off any kind of bits of surface rust and things. Thoroughly dried. And they're now ready to be revolved and re-waxed. So what I'm going to do in next little clip is before I move on to the revolving, I'm just going to get the rest of the wax off the reed block and get that really nice and prepared, and then can move on to the valving and the waxing of the reeds. Good afternoon. Just a little update now on how things are going along with the Hohner Liliput Bellows. So I've done a few things. Just let me get. Oh, hello! Just drop the. So I've put some bellow straps on. So there they are. So it's just nice and straightforward leather bellow straps. Little screw on there with a washer, a little screw there for it to fit on. I bought the bellow straps separately, but I've just cut them to size and put them on. Another thing I've done is I've made some all leather accordion straps. So I've bought some leather of different thicknesses. I've got some buckles, and I just bought a kit for riveting leather together, and I've made some really nice all leather straps. I'll do another video on how to make these straps, so I might do that as a general accordion repair video, but yeah, I'm really pleased with my new straps. So the whole thing is starting to really come together and looking really tidy, so I'm pleased with that. Now the next bit of progress is the reeds. So if I just go down to here, so what I've done, I've cleaned all the reeds and I've sorted them all out, and I had one broken reed. This one here had a broken reed tip. So what I actually ended up doing is finding a reed from my collection of reeds of the same size, but because this is a diatonic, it's a different pitch on both sides. What the reed that I found was just from an accordion which has the same pitch on both sides. So what I had to do, I had to flatten the inside one to make it diatonic, but that's all really nice. So that's done. So I'll put that down in there. And the other thing I've done is I printed out some sheets with the layout, first of all for the club layout for B flat, E flat, which is really important because that's what would have been here in the in the accordion or melodian, and then together with that I've got the standard 2-row B flat, E flat layout for a melodian, which is the kind of more modern one without the club glyctone on it. So I've got that because what I've now done is on the club layout, one of the notes right in the middle of the inside row is the same note on the push and the pull, the glyctone as we call it, and that's a B flat, B flat, B flat on the pull, B flat on the push. Now on the standard layout that will be a B flat and a C on that note. So all I've done is I've taken the reed that was a B flat, and I have sharpened one side to make it a C on both of these sets of reeds because these are the same pitches, just tremolo reeds. So I've done a little bit of that out of the reeds out of the reed blocks just to get them roughly where they should be. And the next step now, I'm going to revalve the underside of all these reeds before I then wax them back into the reed block. So I'm going to revalve them and I'll show you what it looks like when I've got them revalved. Okay, so I have revalved, there we go, revalved the underside reeds, and so the outside reeds are not valved at the moment, and I've just double checked with my little chart to make sure that all the reeds are in the right order. So I've declubbed the reeds, so I've made them from the club layout to a standard layout. So the things I do, I had to change the glyctone tone, which was the same on the push and pull. I made it from a B flat into a B flat C, I think. And the other one was the very highest one, I had to change to an F and a C. So I've done that. So they've been declubbed, and now I'm going to wax them in. So I've got my reed block cleaned up, got my wax heating up, and my little brushes ready. So I'm just going to start waxing them in, and I'll show you what it looks like when I got the first two sets in, and see what it looks like. Okay, there we go. So that's the reed block. All the reeds waxed in. Nice and neat, but I haven't put the top valves on just yet. So that's grand. So all I'm going to do now is do exactly the same thing for the second reed block. Take the reeds out, clean them up, clean up the reed block, check all the tuning bits in case I've had to do anything odd. I'm not sure about the second. Might be a bit more straightforward than that one actually. And get that declubbed if needed. And I'll show you a little clip when that one's done as well. Okay. Hello, just an update on this Hohner Liliput. So it's going well. So what I've done, I'll show you where I've got to actually. Here we go. So all the reeds have been done. So I have cleaned them all up. I've revalved them and I've waxed them all back in. So they're all looking really nice. So all the bass side ones have been done, and then all the treble ones as well. So that's all looking tidy. Now what I have done is I have declubbed the reeds, because the reeds would have been set in a club tuning, and one of the main things would have been that on the treble side, that one there with kind of hash sign on that button there, it's called the glyton, and that one would have been the same note on the push and pull on the club tuning, and on a standard tuning, on a melodeon tuning, that would be a different note on the push and the pull. So what I did there was just find the tuning layouts, one for the club and then one for the standard, so both B flat, E flat, and I worked out how I should change that glytone note, if you like, and I just had to do a little bit of tuning, and then you got a semitone or something, just to get that as you would find on a standard 2-row rather than the club standard. And on the bass side, what I had to do was one of the bass notes on the club tuning. You have a D flat on the push and an A flat on the pull on one of the buttons, and on the standard tuning it's A flat, A flat. So what I've done there is I had to swap a few reeds out on the bass side, just so to make it like a standard tuning rather than the club tuning. So what I've done with these reeds is I've declubbed them, so they're now all set up as you would find on a standard 2-row melodeon in the key of B flat, E flat, rather than the club layout, because the club layout is a little bit obsolete now, and people play or tend to play the standard layout rather than the club layout. So that's what I've done. The other thing I've done is I've sealed the bass side and the treble side, so basically where the edges are all along here, I've just used some PVA glue, it was some Aleen's tacky glue, and I've carefully just brushed it into the corners, into the edges, and just sealed up that side and that side. So that's all really nice. The other thing I've done, I've made some melodeon straps. So I bought some leather, and I bought a few tools. So the tools I bought, obviously a leather punch for punching holes in leather, and a few little punches, which is very helpful. I bought some leather, and I bought a set of rivets, like a riveting kit. And in here you get the 2 halves of the rivet, but you also get a punch and a little punching block, if you like, for punching rivets down. And all I did really, I just looked at another set of straps, worked out how it worked, where to put the buckles, and just made my own. And these are really nice. They're just high quality leather, and I really like them. It's just nice to be able to make your own straps. So new straps, that's all done. So really the bulk of the work has been done. So I've really enjoyed working on this. But it's been the most fiddliest one I've done, kind of melodeon or accordion yet, because of the size. But I've really enjoyed working on it. It's such a high quality thing. It's just nice to work on, really nice to work on. So I'm really pleased. So what I'm going to do next is put all the reed blocks back in. Haven't done any tuning, because what I like to do is just put them in and give it a little test run, see what it sounds like. Because I'm quite keen to find out a bit more about the character and tone of this Hohner Liliput. And so before I start tuning, I just want to have a listen. I'm just interested to see what it actually sounds like, and then I can then do some assessments of what would need tuning and how to do it. So I'll stop the video now, and then on the next video that I post, I'll have everything back in, and I'll give a little test run, and then I'll start the tuning process. So there we are. Alright, thanks for watching.